Snowflakes tumbled from the gray winter sky over Manhattan, catching the glow of streetlights and creating a soft, white haze over the busy sidewalks. The city's energy hummed beneath layers of cold, bright and merciless, a holiday light sparkling like tiny stars scattered among skyscrapers. Amidst this frozen bustle walked a man whose presence went almost unnoticed. Lucas Hayes's boots were scuffed from years of walking through construction sites, wet streets, and crowded subway platforms. His jacket, patched at the elbows and shoulders, carried the faint smell of sawdust and winter cold. Over one shoulder, he carried a large, battered backpack, the seams stretched and worn. He was a single father, a man defined by sacrifice and quiet perseverance. Every morning before dawn, he would sweep streets, carry heavy materials, or work construction shifts that left his body aching. Nights were spent in a small apartment with peeling paint and creaky floors. But it was warmed by the soft laughter of his 7-year-old daughter, Sophie, whose bright eyes and gentle voice made every hardship worthwhile. Sophie had been battling a rare illness for months, her body fragile and her strength fleeting. Doctors had tried countless treatments, but nothing seemed to ease her condition. Yet, despite the fatigue and pain, Sophie had one Christmas wish that seemed simple, yet impossible. "Daddy, I just want to see a real diamond ring sparkle like in the movies. Just for me. Please, make my Christmas magical." Lucas's chest tightened at the note. He knew he could not buy such a ring outright. No credit cards, no wealthy friends, no secret inheritance. Only the money he had painstakingly saved from months of overtime, tips, and coins collected from construction sites. More than money, though, he carried a father's unwavering love, a love strong enough to endure ridicule, exhaustion, and humiliation. As Lucas approached the Tiffany & Company flagship store, snow crunched beneath his boots. Holiday shoppers bustled around him, laughing, carrying shopping bags, pointing at flashy decorations. Few noticed the man moving steadily toward the glass doors, his patched jacket a stark contrast against the sparkling displays. Inside, the store gleamed with marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Rows of diamonds sparkled, reflecting soft light in every direction. Sales staff moved gracefully in pressed black suits, smiles as polished as the counters they stood behind. Every inch of the store was alien to Lucas, a world he had never entered, a world far removed from his daily reality. Yet Sophie's note was a flame in his mind, keeping him moving. Every step was a step toward hope, every heartbeat a drum of determination. The moment he entered, laughter broke the silence. A young clerk whispered to another, smirking. A woman covered her mouth, hiding a grin. Eyes followed Lucas as if he were a foreign object in this sparkling kingdom. The backpack, the scuffed boots, the patched jacket, everything invited judgment. But Lucas did not flinch. He had spent years enduring sneers, and he had learned to stand tall. Today was about Sophie. Today was about hope. At the main counter, Adrienne Cole, a sharply dressed associate, looked up from perfectly arranged displays. She raised an eyebrow. "Can I help you?" Her voice polite, yet edged with amusement. Lucas cleared his throat. I'd like to rent, or maybe even buy, if possible, a diamond ring for my daughter. She's very sick, and this is all she wants for Christmas." Laughter rippled through the room. Employees gathered, whispers bouncing off the walls. "You want what?" one muttered. Lucas felt the familiar heat rise in his chest. Shame, frustration, helplessness. Yet he did not look down. Sophie's wish demanded courage. As Lucas began explaining Sophie's illness, her hope, her longing for even a single magical moment, the whispers grew louder. A young man behind the counter nudged a colleague. "This is ridiculous," he muttered, barely holding back a laugh. Others shook their heads, smirked, or pointed. Lucas's hands trembled slightly as he unfolded Sophie's note, showing them the small words of innocence and hope. "She's only 7, this is all she's asking," he said softly, voice steady despite the rising tension. Some staff shook their heads. "Sir, you realize how much this costs, right? You can't just rent a diamond ring like it's a movie prop." Their eyes held disbelief, condescension, amusement. But Lucas had anticipated this. Years of hardship had prepared him for mockery. He straightened his back and reached into his backpack, carefully pulling out bundles of cash. One by one, the worn, taped stacks were placed on the counter. The laughter stopped. The room went silent. Faces froze. The polished store staff, who moments ago had found humor in his presence, now stared in shock. This is everything I have," Lucas said calmly. "Please, help me make her Christmas magical." Suddenly, the narrative had shifted. The worn jacket, the scuffed boots, the patched backpack, they no longer signaled a man unworthy of attention. They told a story of sacrifice, of sleepless nights, of a love so fierce it outshone wealth. The manager rushed over, stammering apologies. "Sir, I can offer you the ring at a discount, or even let you rent it for a few hours. Please, let me help you." Lucas smiled, nodding. Polite words meant nothing compared to the joy he sought for Sophie. He only cared about fulfilling her wish. Outside, the snow fell quietly, as if the world itself paused to witness the miracle about to unfold. Lucas felt a surge of determination. He placed the last bundle of cash on the counter. His hands were steady now, not from bravado, but from years of discipline and love that had hardened like steel. Every staff member froze. Whispers stopped mid-sentence. The laughter that had once mocked him had vanished completely, replaced with stunned silence. Adrienne Cole, the sharply dressed sales associate, stared at him, her perfectly composed face cracking ever so slightly. You actually saved all of this?" "All of this, for a child?" she asked, disbelief coloring her voice. Lucas nodded slowly. "Yes. For my daughter. She's 7. She's sick, and this is the only thing she asked for this Christmas." A few shoppers who had paused near the displays now watched, curiosity replacing casual indifference. Phones were subtly raised, some recording. Lucas didn't notice, he was focused only on the counter, on the diamonds sparkling under the bright lights, and on the hope in Sophie's words. The manager, a tall man in a dark suit, hurried over, his polished shoes clicking against marble. His voice wavered between professionalism and panic. "Sir, please, we'll make this happen. You can rent it for the evening, or we can create a small payment plan, whatever you need." I never thought." Lucas cut him off gently. "I only need to see her smile. Nothing else matters." Adrienne's hands trembled slightly as she retrieved the most exquisite diamond ring in the display case. "It's beautiful," she said softly, almost reverently, placing it on a velvet pad. "And it's yours, if you're willing." A murmur of awe spread across the showroom. Some of the staff exchanged looks of embarrassment. The young clerk who had whispered and laughed earlier shifted uncomfortably, avoiding Lucas's gaze. Their assumptions, their mockery, their fleeting amusement, they had all been shattered by one man's dedication. Lucas picked up the ring, holding it carefully as if it were fragile. In that moment, he wasn't just a man with worn boots and a patched jacket, he was a father who had moved mountains for his child, whose love had reshaped reality in a room that had once ridiculed him. "Thank you," he said simply. "You don't know what this means." Adrienne nodded, her eyes misting slightly. I think I do," she whispered. Outside, snowflakes continued to fall, blanketing the city in quiet serenity. Inside, the store felt different too. Not because of the sparkle of diamonds, but because of a transformation in perception, humility replacing pride, compassion piercing through indifference, and love revealing its power. Lucas left the store carefully, each step measured against the icy sidewalks. The diamond ring, now safely in his backpack, was more than just a piece of jewelry. It was a promise, a symbol of hope and resilience. He imagined Sophie's face when she saw it, the sparkle in her eyes, and his heart swelled with anticipation. That Christmas morning, the small apartment that Lucas called home glowed with the soft light of early dawn. Sophie stirred in her bed, the curtains slightly pulled to allow the snowy light to filter in. Lucas had decorated the room modestly, a string of lights, a few small ornaments, and the faint scent of cinnamon and pine from a tiny tabletop tree. Sophie's eyes fluttered open, her fragile body rising slowly as she saw the faint glow of the lights. "Daddy," she whispered, her voice weak but filled with hope. Lucas smiled, kneeling beside her bed. "Merry Christmas, my little star," he said softly, brushing her hair from her face. Her gaze fell on the small velvet box he held. "What's that?" she asked, curiosity and wonder in her eyes. Lucas handed it to her carefully. Sophie opened the box slowly, and her breath caught. The diamond ring sparkled brilliantly, reflecting the morning sunlight, casting tiny rainbows across her pale hands. Her mouth fell open, and tears welled in her eyes. "Oh, Daddy, it's beautiful," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Just like in the movies." Lucas held her hand gently. "It's all yours, sweetheart. All yours. You asked for one wish, and it's here." Sophie's small hands clutched the ring as if it were a treasure beyond measure. She smiled, the kind of smile that made everything in the world feel right, a smile Lucas had not seen in months. Thank you, Daddy," she said, her eyes shining with tears and joy. For Lucas, the world outside, the snowy streets, the bustling city, all faded into insignificance. Nothing else mattered except the joy reflected in Sophie's eyes. The sacrifices, the long nights, the endless shifts all had led to this moment. He realized that wealth was not measured in dollars, but in the power to create happiness for someone you love. He watched her carefully, making sure she placed the ring safely on her finger. "Do you like it?" he asked, voice trembling slightly. "It's perfect," she said, hugging him tightly. "This is the best Christmas ever. You're the best daddy in the whole world." Lucas felt a lump in his throat, his heart swelling with pride and relief. He held Sophie close, rocking her gently, listening to her soft, steady breathing. Outside, the snow fell quietly, as if blessing the small apartment with its peaceful rhythm. Later that day, Lucas took Sophie to the window to watch the snow-covered city. She pressed her tiny hands against the glass, the diamond ring catching the light and scattering it across the room. "Look, Daddy! Look at how it shines." Lucas smiled, tears welling in his eyes. "It shines because you believed in magic, Sophie," he whispered. "And because love makes impossible things possible." For the rest of the day, Lucas watched Sophie laugh and play, creating memories that would last a lifetime. He thought of the showroom, the mocking staff, the disbelief he had faced, and realized that those moments were insignificant compared to the joy of fulfilling a child's wish. He posted a photo of Sophie's sparkling ring on social media, sharing their story in the spirit of Christmas. The post quickly went viral, touching hearts around the world. Comments poured in, "This is real love. Never judge anyone again. A father's devotion knows no bounds." Lucas smiled at the messages, feeling a sense of connection with strangers who understood the true meaning of sacrifice and kindness. But in the quiet moments, sitting beside Sophie, he knew he didn't need their validation. He had done this for the person who mattered most in the universe to him, his daughter. As the evening lights twinkled across Manhattan, Lucas tucked Sophie into bed, brushing her hair gently. "Sleep well, my star," he whispered. "You are my miracle." And for the first time in months, Sophie slept soundly, her dreams filled with sparkle, joy, and magic. Lucas sat beside her for a moment longer, letting the quiet warmth of love fill the room. Outside, the snow continued to fall softly, and the city carried on unaware of the quiet heroism in a small apartment, a father who had moved mountains for his daughter. Lucas Hayes realized that night, as the city glimmered outside, that the greatest wealth was never in money or possessions. It was in the sacrifices we make, the love we give, and the moments we create for those we cherish. And somewhere in the snowy streets of Manhattan, hope, joy, and kindness spread a little farther, leaving a mark on the world that even the glitter of diamonds could not surpass. Before you scroll away, comment below, would you ever judge someone again after seeing a story like this? Glowing star. Like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Narratives. Help us remind the world what real love, sacrifice, and magic truly look like.